So today we're going to be talking about a new series on the channel when it comes to different horror franchises that I want to cover. And I made a poll a couple weeks ago talking about what movie franchise you want me to talk about next. Do you want me to talk about Scream? Do you want me to talk about Halloween? Do you want me to talk about A Nightmare on Elm Street? Do you want me to talk about Terrifier? And when I was looking at the votes of the poll, a lot of you guys chose Terrifier, which isn't bad because that's like 3 movies for me to cover, so it should be a pretty quick coverage when it comes to talking about all 3 films, because I recently did go through 11 movies of the Friday the 13th franchise, so it does give me a little break when it comes to talking about a very long series. But honestly, it's just really cool that I am finally able to talk about this franchise, because I checked this franchise out with a friend a couple of years ago. I can't remember exactly what date it was. I know for sure I ended up checking this out before the second film came out, so it was probably around that time period. But yeah, I definitely do have a couple things that I do want to say about the very first Terrifier film. So this should be a fun video. I hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, let's talk about Terrifier, because I definitely do have a couple things to say about this first film. So I want to start talking about Art the Clown, you know, the heart of Terrifier, because when I first saw him, I was just struck by how different he feels from other horror villains, which is a good thing. And Art was played by David Howard Thornton, and Art is basically shown to be a silent, mime-like clown who just terrifies you without even saying a single word. And his exaggerated expressions and eerie grin just make him feel like he stepped out of a twisted carnival. Because unlike classic slashers like Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers, Art's not just a killer, he's a performer, and that makes him stand out in the horror world. And Art's character has roots in Damien Leone's earlier short films as well, when it comes to The Ninth Circle and the 2011 Terrifier short, before appearing in All Hallows Eve in this featured film. What I find fascinating is how Leone crafted Art over time, perfecting his look and personality. The black and white clown costume, complete with that tiny hat and creepy makeup, feels both retro and fresh. It's as if Art's trying to say, I'm here to redefine what a slasher villain can be. And with that in mind, I actually think he succeeds. And what really gets me is how Art blends humor and horror, because one moment he's making these silly little gestures, almost like a cartoon character, and the next he's committing acts so brutal you just can't look away. Take the pizzeria scene where he silently just taunts Tara. It's unsettling because you don't know if he's going to either laugh at you or he's just going to straight up attack you. And that unpredictability just keeps you on edge, and David's performance makes every moment magnetic. It's not just about the kills, it's about how Art turns violence into a twisted spectacle. And I think Art's impact comes from how he captures the raw energy of horror. He doesn't need a backstory or a motive, he's chaos in clown form. And that's what makes him terrifying, and for me, he's earned a spot among the greats like Freddy Krueger or Leatherface. Now let's talk about the gore in Terrifier, because that's impossible to ignore. This movie is intense, and what blows me away is that every gruesome moment is crafted with practical effects. Leone, who directed and handled the special effects, creates scenes that feel so real it's almost overwhelming. And as a horror fan, I appreciate how this approach takes me back to the gritty splatter films of the 70s and 80s, where the blood and guts were all hands-on. And the effects in Terrifier aren't just there to shock, they're part of the film's identity. Scenes like the hacksaw kill with Dawn are so meticulously done that they stick with you long after the credits roll. Leone's background and makeup and effects shines through in every detail, from the texture of wounds to the way the blood splatters. I read that he spent hours on each kill just to get it right, and you could feel that dedication. It's not about throwing gore at the screen, it's about making every moment hit hard. But what I find compelling is how the practical effects make the horror feel personal. Because unlike movies that rely on CGI, Terrifier's kills are tangible. You could almost feel the weight of each moment. For example, when Art attacks the pizzeria workers, the violence is so vivid that it pulls you into the scene. It's uncomfortable, sure, but that's what makes it effective. The effects don't let you distance yourself. They demand your attention right away. And for me, the practical effects are a big reason Terrifier stands out in modern horror. They give the film a raw, almost artisanal quality that feels like a love letter to the genre's roots. I think that's why so many horror fans connect with it. It's unapologetic and real. Now let's get into the story of Terrifier, or honestly, how little there is of it, because the plot is straightforward. It's Halloween night, Tara and Dawn cross paths with Art the Clown, and then things just spiral into chaos. As someone who loves horror, I'm fine with that simplicity. Leone seems to focus on art and the horror itself rather than a complex narrative, and I think that choice shapes the film's raw energy. But I heard some viewers want more depth, so let's explore that. The movie kicks off with a talk show scene hinting at a survivor of the Miles Country Massacre, which sets a creepy tone without explaining too much. I like that it doesn't bog us down with Art's origins or motivations. To me, that mystery makes him scarier. He's like a force of nature, unstoppable and unknowable. The warehouse chase of Tara is intense because the story doesn't get in the way. It's just pure, relentless horror. That said, I can understand why some might want more from the characters. Tara and Dawn are relatable, but they don't have much depth beyond being likable victims. And when I watched, I didn't mind because the film feels like a throwback to grindhouse slashers where the focus was on the kills and the vibe itself, not intricate drama. Still, I wondered if a bit more context about the characters could make the stakes feel higher without losing that raw edge. And for me, the minimalist story works because it lets art and the horror shine. It's like Leone knew exactly what kind of movie he wanted to make. One that hits you in the gut and doesn't let up. I love how it leaves you to fill in the blanks about Art's nature. And one thing I keep coming back to with Terrifier is its tone, because the movie balances creepy humor with downright brutal horror, and it's a combination that really works for me. When I watched Art the Clown make goofy gestures or smear graffiti in the pizzeria, I couldn't help but chuckle. But then he switched to something so vicious that I'd freeze. That back and forth is what makes Terrifier such a unique experience. And I want to break down how it pulls that off. The humorous side comes from Art's exaggerated, almost cartoonish behavior. David Howard Thornton's performance as Art brings this playful energy, like when he's posing or mimicking his victims. Feels like a nod to the lighter moments in 80s slashers where the horror wasn't always deadly serious. Those bits of levity catch you off guard, making you relax just enough before the next scare hits. It's a clever way to keep you engaged. Then there's the horror, which is where Terrifier goes all in. The kills are not just violent, they're drawn out and theatrical, like Art staging his own twisted play. The scene with Dawn and the hacksaw is a perfect example. It's so intense that it shifts the mood entirely, reminding you that Art's humor is just a mask for his cruelty. I think that contrast is what makes the film so gripping. The humor lures you in and the horror knocks you down. What impresses me is how Damien Leone keeps this balance from feeling disjointed. The film never mocks itself, but it also doesn't drown you in a darkness that some modern horror films do. It's a tribute to the genre's roots while also pushing boundaries, and that's why I find it so compelling. So those are my thoughts on the first film of Terrifier. I didn't want to go too in depth with a couple things because obviously that gets explored in later films when it comes to the second and third film, which we'll definitely talk about once we dive into those two films. But I enjoyed this one. At first, you know, I just felt really out of it. Like when I was watching it with my friend a couple years ago, I was like, holy shit, what I just watched, because I was new to the whole field that Damien was doing with the films. So after sitting on it for like a couple years now, because it has been a couple years since I've seen it, I like it. I think it's fun, and I really like what art brings to the table. And that's why whenever the movies come out, like when the third one came out recently last year, I had fun with it when I watched it just because of the kind of film it was. But now I'm gonna leave the ball in your corner. How do you guys feel about the very first Terrifier film? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Is there anything in specific you guys want to say to me when it comes to the very first film in the franchise? Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. If you guys want to follow me on my social media, be sure to follow me on my X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. All the links are located in the description below. If you guys want to join my Discord server, be sure to do so. We could talk about video games on there, horror, cartoons, TV shows, and movies. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, be sure to join the Discord server. It'll automatically direct you there, and it is pinned in the comment section down below. Also, be sure to click on that bell for notifications so you guys can get updates whenever a new video comes out, just like this one. Anyways, I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.